welcome, fellow geeks and gamers, to another exclusive preview, immersion preview here. Today, in this video, we're going to be looking at Endzone, A World Apart. So now, Endzone is currently in closed beta. It's going to be launching in early access here in just a couple of days, but I have been given the honor and privilege of taking an early look at it. So what is Endzone, A World Apart? Well, Endzone is a post-apocalyptic city builder simulation game. If you like games like Tropico, the old Caesar and Pharaoh games, then you're probably going to like this one. This is going to be something that's going to be akin to what you're used to playing. Also, as you'll see here, as I get into the description of the game, if you're a fan of the Fallout series of games, this may also pique your interest, as it did mine. That's the very reason I requested this one. So, more about what is Endzone. Let me give you an intro here real quick before we get into the actual gameplay. In 2021, a group of eco-terrorists blew up nuclear power plants around the world and plunged the world into chaos. Only a few were able to escape into underground facilities called Endzones. 150 years later, mankind returns to the surface under your command. In an extremely hostile environment full of radioactivity, contaminated rain, and extreme climate change, you'll have to prove your worth as a leader. So Endzone features the ability to build your own settlements on the hostile surface of the Earth with over 30 different buildings, all while taking care of your citizens. You can gather and refine many different resources, manage your economy by building an efficient infrastructure, complete with streets and depositories. Experience dynamically simulated and believable environments. Every ground cell in the game has its own humidity and radiation values, which you as a player will have to contend with. Survive in a world of constant threats, including radiation, contamination, droughts, toxic rain, and sandstorms. You'll also be able to send expeditions to foreign places and make meaningful decisions that change the fate of your people. And as I said, this game is currently in closed beta, as my copy has, but once it releases into early access, more features are going to be added. So if this Endzone here has any interest for you, you'll want to check it out once it hits early access and follow along the game as those new features are implemented. But for the purposes of this video here and this preview, I'm going to be taking a look at the single tutorial scenario. Going to explain some of the UI, and we're going to go through the step-by-step process that the tutorial covers. Water, food, resources, housing, and clothing. So let's get into the tutorial here, and let me introduce you to Endzone, A World Apart. Alright, we are into the tutorial here. A fresh start. So there's this citizen, advisor I'll call him. I'm not exactly sure. This seems to be a suitable place to settle. You know what we learned back in the Endzone. Basic needs first. We need to install water and food supply, and afterwards... ... Let's build ourselves a new home. Alright. So immediately being taken into the tutorial, I'm going to pause the game, and we're going to do a quick map recon of our immediately surrounding areas. Plus, I'm going to orient the map to the way I like it. I like looking at the mini map there on the top right. I like the large bar, largest part of that, what is that, a parallelogram? Up at the top. Alright, so map movement is pretty easy using the WASD keys. Oh, I am playing on a PC. So WASD allows me to move around. I can zoom in. I can zoom out. I can use the right click, which is a little bit faster, the way to move the map around there. And I can middle mouse button my mouse wheel to make it rotate here like this. Alright, so that's all uniform standard stuff that you'll see in many RTSs. Simulation builders. Okay, now right now in the closed beta, the tutorial is a little bit lacking. Right now, this is not going to be a review of the game, just going to preview the game. In other games that I play a lot of these sim builder games like this. Now would be the time to explain all the elements of the UI. But this tutorial doesn't do that. It goes right into making the steps. Okay, so I'm going to just briefly show you what some of these elements in the UI here are. Alright, that's the bug button. So if you want to report a bug here in the closed beta, I imagine that's going to stick around in the early access. At least I hope so. I would imagine so. So if you've got any bugs to report, that's your button. What we have here is the survival handbook. Now this is the manual for the game. So if you have time before starting the game, I would suggest you at least peruse, kind of just skim through this section here and see a little bit about what each element is talking about. You don't have to read the whole thing like I did, but it's a good point to know what's there in case you come upon it in game while you're playing, and you can access the handbook to clarify whatever you need to clarify. This is the game log. Keeps track of movements, events that happen during your gameplay, so you can track what's going on in your world. Here's notifications. Important notifications appear in this window. And this is your goals window. Now, so far I've only seen this here in the tutorial. I've played a couple of other of the non-tutorial games and not come upon any goals yet. So for the tutorial, this is mainly what we're going to be following along with here in the step-by-step process. Up above here we have our resource bar: water, food, wood, scrap, tools, radiation protection, which is very important, pharmaceuticals, cloth, metal, plastic, electronics, and coal. So those are going to be where you track all your resources. This is your citizens here. You've got adults. So in the tutorial I'm starting off here with 10 adults. And I have children. I'm starting off with 5 children. This is their average health. This is their average confidence. And this is their average radiation. Over here in the top right, I've got the map positions, which you can select and have the map snap to positions that you want to be able to quickly go to if you need it. Reset the camera, and then the main menu button, of course. Of course, you can also click on the mini map to go where you need to go to. Down here in the lower left, we've got statistics, which opens up a detailed window so that you can micromanage to your heart's content here all your everything that you need to look at. It's got the clothing, tools, it's got education, fortify, scales, graphs. You've got food and plantation seeds over here. So you can look at all of that. Keep track of your civilization here, your city, as much as you need to. Here's your resource bar window with all the resources that you have in your current campaign, current scenario. You can track them all here. You can track them from the current season, from last season, or even from 2 seasons ago. That's going to be very handy. This here tab, we've got a production limits. So each of your production, each of the resources that you have has limits, as you can see it under that orange text at the bottom of that tooltip tab. This is where you can track those, and you can set limits, set your own limits for whatever you feel is necessary. The 2 most used tabs that I've been using so far are the professions tab. You start off with a certain number of settlers for each scenario, and you have to control, or you have control over these settlers and what each occupation they are doing right here in this window. And then the building and tools tab, building and tasks tab, where you can build your water, constructions, food, resources, housing, your community, logistics, electricity, and tasks. And then down here at the bottom, we've got a a toggle for soil moisture, so you can see what parts of your map have the most soil. And the very important one, radiation, so you can see which parts of the land have radiation and which don't. And then we've got weather and the time of day. So as you can see, says it's daytime, uncontaminated rain, which is also very important to note. We are currently starting in season 1, and this here will move to the left as the seasons progress. So you can see season 1 is here. Season 2, we can expect some rain. We don't know if it's contaminated or not. We have to build a weather station to get a more accurate forecast. And then here, there's going to be no rain in season 4. That's what we're expecting. And you see that red right there? It looks like season 5, we can expect a drought. So, very important to note those aspects of the UI. I wish the game did a better thing of explaining that. Maybe that will come through in the early access. I'll be tracking that to find out. Alright, so right now we are concerned with our tutorial goals. So first off, we need to have a water supply. So install a running water supply chain. Alright, so to do that, we need to assign settlers to profession builder. Alright, so this is where we assign our professions. You see I have 10 settlers and 0 builders, so I'm going to assign 1 settler to the builder, which marks off that as being done on the goals tracking list there. Alright, now we need to build a cistern. So we have a builder. I'm going to go to here. I'm going to go to water, select cistern, and place in a very appropriate and reasonably settled location. Now, it's very important to know here, which I think is a plus in this game. So that is the circle, is the circle of influence and reach that this building has. Right? Now, if I want, because it has to access water, I don't have to set it all the way over here. Alright? So I'm just going to set it here in a central location, because I'm going to have to build my community around it. So I'm going to set that right there. Now, I still have the game paused, so nothing is happening. So you can plant your buildings, you can do a lot of things, you can do your planning with the game paused, which is definitely a plus. Alright. Now, we also have to build a boardwalk. And as you can see down here in the boardwalk, a boardwalk is a collection point for water. It requires a cistern or a water tower to collect and store the water. So you saw the circle of influence here that our cistern has. It's not really touching the water. It doesn't have to extend on the water because that's what the boardwalk does. So I'm going to pivot this around, place this in a central location close to, in line with the cistern. Actually, I should have placed that. I misplaced the entrance. That green bar you see there, well, the green bar is the entrance to where the building is. I should have placed it pointing towards the boardwalk. That was my mistake. Alright, so I'm going to pivot this around so that the entrance is in the right place. There. And the boardwalk is going to place there. Now, as long as the circle of influence for the cistern is touching the boardwalk, both buildings are going to be operational. So my workers are going to be able to come from the cistern, travel to the boardwalk, collect their water, and go back. Alright, so that's what I want them to do. So I'm going to unpause, and we're going to let the builders, let me zoom in on here a little bit, close that down there, close that down so we can see more of the window. Okay, there's my builder. So my builder's going to walk out here. I'll go ahead and speed this up just a little bit. So they're bringing resources from the resource hub out here to build this. Alright, so the cistern has been built. This is what the window looks like when the cistern is built. You can see. Tagged, check marked off on here, the cistern built goals task list. We're good to go there. Now, the boardwalk builds automatically, or gets built. The builder will come out here and build this automatically. But what I need to do, since I have the cistern built, is assign water carriers. Now remember, I have one builder, which leaves me with 9 settlers. Now, I'm going to assign some more of those settlers as water carriers. I can have 5. I'm going to assign 3 because that's what the goals requires. Checked off, I assigned 3. That's good to go. Alright, now let's take that off here, and I'm going to put it on slow play, normal play. Now, what are my other settlers doing while the ones that have jobs are doing their jobs? Well, they are bringing supplies from your supply bus to wherever the next construction site, to wherever the next supplies are needed. Otherwise, they're just kind of standing around idle until you put them to work. Alright, so as you see, there's my water carriers. They're walking down here to the boardwalk. They're going to grab water. They're going to bring it back up to here. Alright, so let's pause that again. As you see, the boardwalk has been built. It doesn't take very long for it to get built. Now, all we have to do is store up 100 units of water. I guess that's gallons. I'm not sure. Just call them units. Don't know what they actually are. So I'm going to speed this up just a little bit and let everybody work. Now you could, in the meantime, assign 5 water carriers to speed that up. Just remember that you have 5 water carriers, and it's going to reduce your total settlers So you have to keep track of that. But since this is pretty short, this is going to go rather quickly. Boom. Task complete. Hey, Chief. We finished constructing our water supply chain. Things are up and running, and we already stored some water rations. I need some more coffee. I can't read today. All right, so once that's complete, we get a bonus of 300 water. So you look up here, we now have a bonus point in our water supply, which is good. All right, so I'm going to keep those 3 water carriers running back and forth, supplying our cistern. I've put the game on pause. Roger that. Next step is food. Provide food to the settlement, okay? So as you can imagine, food, we're going to have to set some crops and set what crops are, we're going to set some fields and then set what crops are grown in those fields. So we're going to build 2 fields here. So we go down, go down to the building and tasks, select food, select field. Now the smallest size of field that you can build is a 6x6. And there's a counter, handy little counter there. So 6x6 field, there's one. And then right next to it, build another 6x6 field. And as you can see, that ticks off there. Now, set field seed. Click on the individual field. It's this button here that says set seed. We have available hemp, cabbage, beans, potatoes, corn, peppers, wheat, and squash. Now, it's also important to know, right here is a description. Hemp takes 1.5 seasons to grow and will yield you 72 hemp. Cabbage takes 3.5 seasons to grow, but will yield you 180 food. So keep track of your seasons that you've got down here, okay? So, and figure out what you want to grow based on the seasons and how much time it has, how much time it takes. Beans take 2.6, potatoes take 5.25, corn takes 1.75, pepper takes 0.8, wheat takes 2.1, and squash takes 4.3. Okay, so just for the purposes of this tutorial scenario and this video, I'm going to hit the pepper. I'm going to set seed on that one, and I'm going to set seed pepper on that one. Boom! Task complete. I never even unpaused it. Alright, so we're moving right into task 3, which is resources. Game is still paused. Task complete, yeah. Or yay, with a running food supply, our basic needs are covered. Some leftover rations were put in our logistic building, which is the bus there. So we got an extra 300 pepper to go into our food supply, which is right there. Alright, well done. Now we moved right into step 3, which is resources. Task 3. Gather resources from the area. Oh, wait, I should go back. Because now that I have 2 fields planted and seeds selected, we're going to need farmers. So, now as you can see on the field window over here, there's a workforce. There's a separate window showing you your current and maximum workers, and then a window showing your overall amount of workers. So you've got 2 places where you can micromanage your workforce. You've got the professions, which you can assign professions, and then you've got the individual construction, individual building workforce management window, we'll call it. So I want to take 6 of my remaining citizens who aren't doing anything, and I'm going to assign 2 as farmers, and that's going to be one farmer per field. So as you can see, this got one farmer. I can have a total of 4 working that. This also has one farmer. I can have a total of 4 working that. So the game will automatically assign 1 per, which is pretty cool, just from the professions window. Alright, now on to task 3, resources. Okay, so we need to gather all resources task. Alright, so as you can see around here, let's zoom out just a bit. These here, well, let me zoom in to show you closer. These are all scrap piles. Alright, scrap is going to be a vital source, a vital resource that you're using to build your community. So I'm going to go down here to my building and task. I'm going to go to tasks. I'm going to select the gather all resources task, which is going to give me a little banner with a area of effect, and I'm going to set that banner right here. As you can see, it grows red where it's unselectable, where you can't place it, and it's green where it's good to go. And I'm going to set it right in the center there where there's a number of good supplies. Boom. Now all the settlers that I don't have busy, which is currently 4, they are now going to be busy collecting all of the resources around this banner. That includes scrap, that includes wood, that includes anything that's in that area of effect right there. Okay, so just remember that it says settlers 4, but they are all busy gathering resources right now. So whenever you take another settler and assign them a new profession, you're going to have 3 settlers, or 2 settlers, or 1 settler. So that's something just to be cognizant of. Alright, and so that is a check mark off there. So I'm going to unpause this, let the game work. So I'm going to zoom in here. So my farmers are going to come over here. They're going to plant their crops and start waiting for them to grow and harvest. I still have my water carriers supplying my cistern. I have suppliers coming from the bus carrying supplies to where they need to, and now I've got the rest of my citizens going out here gathering all of these scrap and wood resources. Alright, so next I need to build a forester lodge. So I'm going to come down here to resources, select forester lodge, which is going to give me a forester lodge, and you can see it has a large area of effect. So I'm going to set it centrally located right here so that it gathers all that wood. Boom. Alright, now I still have 1 builder. I only have 1 builder going. So I'm going to zoom in here, select on that forester building. Now all of those settlers that are not busy are going to be gathering the resources they have and bringing them over here to this construction site. They're going to need to clear the building area. There's a progress bar for that. They're going to need to bring in wood and scrap. Each have their own progress bars, and then the builder will be able to come in and build the lodge, the forester lodge there, and there's a progress bar for that. Right, so I'm going to speed this up just a little bit. You can see all my workers are now gathering those resources, and you'll see that progress bar start to fill up as my workers get their task. So if you needed to, you could go into your professions bar. You've got 4 citizens. You can ramp up a bit more and assign them so that the work would go faster. But as you can see, scrap's already built, scrap's already collected, wood is being collected. And soon my builder will come over and begin building. And we'll have us a forester lodge. We've got all the scrap produced to qualify for this task. Builder is building. Boom. Alright, I'm going to pause it. Our forester lodge is now built. Now, we go into our professions window. We're going to assign one settler. See our, okay. One of our children became an adult. We're now down to 4 children and 11 adults. So we now have 5 settlers that we can have to work with. So I'm going to assign one a forester. There's a max of 4 in that building that it can hold. That satisfies the next check mark there in the forester lodge building. Right. And I'm going to let it play. Now the next thing we need to finish out this goal is a scrapyard built. Scrapyard is also another very important, oops, wrong way, point of building here. So as you can see, I've got a lot of scrap up to the north here and around this way. So I'm going to centrally locate my scrapyard right up here. So I'm going to set that, actually, yeah, I like it better this way. I'm going to set the scrapyard right there. Now the same thing on it. We're going to have to clear the area, gather wood, gather scrap. All the supplies are going to be placed on site. Our builder is going to come in and build. So I'm going to speed up the game just a bit until everything gets constructed. All while keeping an eye on our seasons, on our water and food supply. Oh yes, the game does have day and night cycles, which will bring electricity into use once you've advanced far enough into the game and supplies that you have electricity available. Alright, so we almost have all the supplies needed for the scrapyard. And boom, supplies are collected. Going to wait for our builder to arrive. Toss this building up. There's my builder. Oh, I thought that was my builder. Where's my builder? Are you my builder? Who's my builder? There it is. There's my builder. Boom. Task complete. Success. Now we are ready to hunt for scrap and chop wood to build in some houses. Already found a pile to get us started. So with the completion of the scrapyard, we got 150 extra scrap awarded to us. Great. Now, as you can see down here, this little red alert triangle, I have 15 citizens without a home right now. Everyone's piling into the bus at night, and it gets kind of crowded. It's starting to smell. So we're going to build some houses, now that we have a wood supply saved up. So I'm going to come down here, keep hitting the wrong button there, go to the housing tab. We're going to build some basic housing. All right, so I'm going to make, now for this we need to build 5 homes to satisfy the requirements of this task list, this goal. So I'm just going to plop down 5 houses right here. Not getting fancy with it here in this video, this tutorial video. Just showing you how everything works. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And I'm going to put it on fast. Speed it up just a bit. And like all the other buildings, you can select to see your house window. They're going to bring over the supplies to the construction site, and then the builder's going to come in and build. On many of the buildings, you'll see this Build Next button right here. So, say I wanted, I plop down 3 buildings at a time, but I want them built in a certain order. I can select a building and hit that Build Next, and the builder will prioritize the building of that building after whatever construction or whatever task they're currently doing. Each building, each house will hold 5 occupants. Now, it's also important to note that houses will only move in families. Boom. All the houses are built. Task complete. Okay. Nice one, Chief. Home sweet home. Some scrap and wood was left over. Did we put in all the screws? So with the completion of that, we've got 100 extra scrap and 100 extra wood awarded to us for building our houses. Got it. Alright, so finally we'll go into the last goal here for the tutorial scenario, and that is clothing. We need to produce radiation protection clothing for our settlers. First off, we need to build a recycler. Okay, so I'm going to show you what a recycler is. Let's see, that's resource, yeah. So a recycler building is a building that slowly recycles the metal, that separates metal, cloth, plastic, and electronics that come from all your scrap that your workers are gathering around. Now this does it slowly. This is not the refinery or workshop. So whatever supply is bringing in, it can only separate one item at a time. So you have control of what it's separating at any moment. So I'm going to build a recycler right here next to the scrapyard. Boom, there. Right, and I'm going to put that on fast speed. Select the recycler building so that we can watch the progress bars. Oh, let's see. Yes. Okay, so I now have 3 children. I now have 12 adults, so I had another child become an adult, which gives me a total of 5 settlers. So I'm going to, I need 1 salvager who's going to specifically bring the scrap to the salvage building, to the scrapyard. Okay, so I'm going to assign 1 person there. You can see my little alert warning sign goes over there. And I'm going to need 1 person working in the recycler to separate all the scrap that gets brought in. So I'm going to assign 1 worker there. That now leaves me with 3 settlers. Now remember, those 3 settlers are the ones who are working over here at the on this task. And as you can see, they've got all the loose scrap already collected. Now they're going to start working on this larger scrap, which is these house ruins and the wood. Alright, so that's done. Let's close that window down and let's go back to speeding the game up. Oh, that's also a very handy item. Well, let me make another point there that I wanted to show you. That's rather efficient. So let's see. Yeah, here. Okay. This is the area of effect that this scrapyard has. It's a rather large circle. However, let's say everything gets cleared out of that area of effect that the scrapyard has, do I have to build another scrapyard just to keep my resource flowing into here, which is my current community? No, because you can go down here and select Move Work Area. So if I wanted to, I could select this and it will extend the reach that my citizens go to, so that now that's going to be the center of the work area, and they will go from this community all the way out there to that and collect everything within that circle and bring it back here without having to build another building. And multiple buildings have that. The cistern has it, Move Work Area. So if I wanted to, I could say, okay, I want to now focus the water supply over this way, or what have you. So numerous buildings have that. That's also something I thought was very neat and an improvement over other games that I've seen, other simulation games where everything is focused around the building and you have to build another building of the like to collect your resources. All right, so we're going to go back here and focus on the recycler because we are almost done. Almost have all the mats needed for my recycler building done. Waiting for the builder to come over and throw this one together. There it goes. Alright, that's up. So now we have the recycler building going. I've already assigned its worker, so they're getting put to work right now. Now, here is where it gets a little tricky. Next building needed up is a tailor. Okay, but now let me go ahead and show you that. So I need a tailor, which is right here. Now if you look, I can't show you with the cursor, but right there on that pop-up window you see the construction costs that are needed to construct that building. See that one in red there? That is cloth. I'm going to need cloth as part of the resources to build this building. So I'm going to plop the tailor down. Let's see, let's plop the tailor down right here just for the purpose of this. And as you can see, once I click on that, I need cloth. It's missing cloth. Where do I get cloth? Well, I'm going to have to get cloth from my recycler. So remember, the recycler can only separate one product at a time. So I'm going to have it focus on cloth right here. I can have it focus on plastic, electronics, or metal. It cannot do all of those at the same time. It can only focus on one product at a time. So I've selected cloth, and it's going to be separating cloth, which is going to be tracked down here. And then once it has enough cloth gathered, I'm going to have one of the workers are going to automatically move it over here to the tailor. That building's going to get built, and then we can move on to the next aspect. Alright, so that's how that's going to work. So I'm going to speed this up. Let's watch the gathering here just a moment. That's my bringing in some scrap. Blam. Okay, there are 4 cloth. Now we're going to wait for that cloth to make its way over here. to the tailor building. See, it needs 12 cloth total to help it construct. I've got scrap is there, wood's getting placed, still waiting on the cloth. Boom, there goes 4 cloth right there. Wood's almost in place. Alright, got cloth in, waiting for wood. Let me zoom in on this one so we can see the worker in up close, the builder up close. Take a look at what the citizens are doing. There's my builder going to work. And tailor is now built. Okay, so now I need to go back to my professions window. I need to assign a tailor. I have 4 citizens, 4 settlers that I can work with. I'm just going to assign 1 for the purposes of this. Now, we need to make neck scarf. I need to produce 2 neck scarves. So, from the tailor, we can produce neck scarves, activated carbon masks, or radiation suits. So, neck scarves are already selected. I've got 1 tailor going to work in that. If I wanted to speed it up, I could put 2 because I have 3 settlers that I can continue with, but I want to keep those settlers bringing in some scrap. And they're going to produce me 2 neck scarves. So let's speed that up. And we can watch our tailor produce 2 neck scarves. Currently production 2. And once that finishes, it's missing. Boom. I was about to say it's missing a progress bar. I would like a progress bar over here for each of these items, but I know they're being built because of this here. Alright, that will finish the task. Let's get our hands dirty and dig ourselves something shiny. We already went through some piles, Chief. Couldn't resist. So, with the completion of that task, we got awarded 10 cloth, 10 electronics, 10 metal, and 10 plastic. Goal finished. Great, Chief. Thanks to you, we're off to a pretty good start. Rest assured, we know there will be tough times ahead, but we will survive. Well done. And with that, that will complete the tutorial segment here of Endzone. And now everything turns into sandbox play, so you can continue this little community going that you have here, because there are no more goals. So you can just shut that down. Keep track of your alerts that are coming in, and continue play. As you can see, next up, Season 5, we've just hit a drought. So I've got a good amount of water supply stored up here. But what I want to think about next is maybe building a well or a rain catcher so that I can supplement the water, because during a drought this here lake is going to go dry, so there will be no more water to collect. Also, since this lake will go dry, I can reassign my water collectors to another task, either collecting more scrap, collecting wood, what have you. Okay, but that is just a quick, brief look here at Endzone World Apart, the tutorial segment. I'm going to have more videos showing up on my YouTube channel. So if you like this one here, please like it and subscribe to my channel for more of these videos and many of the other gaming videos that I put up here. Feel free to leave comments. Do you like the game? What do you think about it here? Are you going to be tracking it during the Early Access here? Oh, I should mention, the Early Access is going to launch here on 2 April, which is just a couple days away. It's going to be on Steam and Good Old Games, and so be tracking that. If you have Steam or Good Old Games, you can go ahead and follow the game, put it on your wish list, so that when it does launch the early access, you'll know, you'll get an alert on that. But thank you for watching. Come back here anytime and check out all my other gaming videos. Leave some comments here on what you like about this game, what looks good to you about Endzone, something else that you'd like to see me do here in this game or any of my other games. And that will do it for this one. Hope to see you again. Stay safe out there, everyone. Keep playing games.